Welcome to Cardinal Coaches Corner. I'm Benny Rogers. We're joined today by James Jones, the esports coach here at Trinity Valley Community College. And James, the program is in its fourth year. You're in the spring season.
Mm-hmm.
4 seasons in the bag. You got 9 teams in action, I think, this spring.
Correct.
What's the biggest lesson you have learned as a coach thus far through 4 seasons?
So biggest thing I've learned is, I come from traditional coaching. I did football, basketball, all that type of stuff when I went through high school. Yes, esports operates a lot like traditional sports, but at the same time, I've come to understand that not all students respond well to that traditional type of coaching. It's a different type of student.
Right.
I do get a lot of former athletes that understand that, and military members. They get that type of coaching, but some have never had that experience. So over the years, I've learned to communicate with those students better and have a different coaching approach when it comes to those students.
Since 2020, the program's had 40 playoff appearances, you were telling me earlier this week. Would you say you're where you thought you'd be, or you think you're further ahead of schedule than you thought you might be?
It's a little bit of both, to be honest.
Okay.
The distance that we've gone in some playoffs has really come on early. I remember at the beginning when we first started the program, it was like, yes, we made playoffs, but we went far into the playoffs. It was like the top 12, top 8, and some of the teams, and that's really good for a brand new program. But as far as where we are now, yes, I believe we're a perennial JUCO program for esports. And
well, wasn't it a year ago or 2 years ago, you reached the finals, and it was a 5-hour marathon match or something to that effect?
Yeah, it was the fall of 2023.
Right.
We made it to the national finals, and we started at, I believe, 9 p.m. that evening. And I think we closed up shop around 3 a.m.
Oh, my. You're one of the few programs on the JUCO level that's actually hosted competitions here. You've had teams come in, like I think Blinn has come in once and played. And I think Navarro's done it, and maybe a Dallas school has done it. Do you see that trend continuing? And tell us what the excitement level has been to when you actually have an on-site competition going on.
So, TVCC is trying to be trailblazers in that aspect. We want to make it a normal thing. Every other college gets to do it. Their sports programs, esports should be able to do it as well. So we've opened up those floodgates. We went down to Blinn. Like you said, Blinn, Navarro, Dallas College has came here. And we want to continue that as long as, it's not a ridiculous amount to travel.
Sure.
I'd like to start getting out to outside of state lines, start going to Oklahoma, Kansas, Louisiana, and start facing some of those schools live as well. Do
you feel like esports has grown at the rate everyone thought it would grow? Now we're 4 years into it.
Yes, I knew it would explode pretty quickly, and it still continues to grow. Our program shows that I started out with 6, and now I'm averaging about 25 to 30. I expect that to grow even more these next couple of years. As I've been on the recruiting trail a lot lately.
Right. Well, you mentioned your team. What's a typical week for an esports team member?
So we have practices just like everybody else. Since I do coach 9 different sports.
Try that sometime.
We are esports, but I coach 9 different teams who have 9 different rule sets and play 9 different ways. So we have to stagger our practices. Say Monday, Wednesday, from 12:30 to 2:30, I'll have Overwatch come in, and then 2:30 to 4:30, Valorant will come in.
And there's competitions going on that night.
Yes,
so it's a long day.
We pretty much compete every single night of the week except for Friday right now. I don't have a Rocket League team. They usually competes on a Friday, but I hope to regain that this coming semester, and we'll be back to a full 5 nights a week.
Well, you play a spring season and a fall season. Is one of the two considered the more predominant season? Like in soccer, for instance, the fall season is considered the in-sports season, and the spring is considered exhibition.
It is exactly the same.
Is it really?
This fall season is its own season. They have a champion at the end of that, a national champion. And then the spring season, exact same. We have a season and a champion at the end of that season.
When you're recruiting team members, what are the characteristics you're looking for? I mean, it's a trial by error, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. I mean, when we first started, yes, it was a new concept, and I've had to adapt to that. But what I tell high schoolers when I go visit them is like, listen, I'm not looking for the best of the best. If you're really good, awesome. But I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for coachable students. I'm looking for students that have that hunger, that drive to be better. Because a lot of them casually play at home. They've never really competed because it's not really on the high school level as in recent years. So when I get them in, that's the hardest thing is like this you're competing against another college. You're representing TVCC and you're playing another college, and it's a whole lot different than them sitting at home.
Oh, I'm sure it is, yeah. Well, you've added a new assistant coach this year, Marion Benson. What are his primary responsibilities?
Bringing on Omar, he's kind of taken some of the load off of me, as where I'm not coaching all 9 teams all the time. He's taken over some of the coaching responsibilities for 2 or 3 of our teams, mainly Overwatch and Valorant, and a fighting game or 2. Marvel Rivals is a new roster, a new game that we're competing in this year, and he's taken over that as well.
Well, tell us how people can watch Cardinal Esports in action.
So twitch.tv/TVCC Esports is where we stream all of our games. I wouldn't say all of our games, a majority of our games like Valorant, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, Call of Duty, all those big team games we can show on there. And we've recently started pushing some of those videos not live on YouTube, but now they're being archived.
They are right, so people can actually go in and look them up. Before we let you go, James, I know you've been responsible for, I think, helping like 10 area high schools get programs started. How important is that? Do you feel that is part of your job to grow the sport? And what's that experience been like for you?
It's super important because, it's kind of a farm system for me for TVCC. And it's kind of a passion project of mine when I first started the program. I was like, listen, I don't just want it here at TVCC. I want kids to have opportunities on the high school level. That way they aren't surprised when they come to TVCC on a competitive level playing other teams. They have that experience in high school and able to do that, and it's huge. Take Eustis High School. They're flourishing. I know they've had about 60 students at a time in their esports program, and I know that they outnumbered their traditional sports at some times as well. So, it's flourishing. I'm still helping more high schools start them. They realize that this is where the future is.
Well, I said before we go, I got one more. I always have one more question. I always think of something. To the novice esports watcher or the person who's not even familiar with what esports is, explain it to him in a nutshell.
Whew. Man. So, it is playing video games, as most people would think, but not in the sense of you're just doing it for leisure, for fun, and all that. It's competitiveness, and what I was alluding to earlier is like it's different than just playing at home, because when you come and play esports, there's playbooks, there's drills, there's practices that they've got to learn, and it's a coordinated team versus another coordinated team. It really is a team aspect, and a lot of people don't realize that is everything's coordinated. It may look like chaos when you're watching on the screen, but everything is done for a reason.
Well, let me ask you this. Anybody that's just curious in it and wants to come see behind the scenes at one of your practices, are they welcome?
Yeah, they're more than welcome to watch our practices.
Tell them where you're at, where you're located.
We're on the second floor of our library, the LRC Learning Resource Center, 247. More than welcome to watch practices. You're more welcome to watch us play live. I know we'll have some live events at Freelancers, which is our local gaming cafe. Mm-hmm. We'll even have more opportunities next semester as we're moving locations. We are actually going to get a dedicated practice room, and we're going to have a competition room where we're going to have a stage, seating for the players, and seating for audience members as well.
Well, James, thanks for dropping by. We're going to catch up with you later in the season as the playoffs get near. And at what point of the season will that be where you head into the playoffs?
So we're about 3 weeks in. We have 7 weeks of regular season. So it's going to be about probably mid-April is when we'll start hitting our regional playoffs.
Okay, we'll catch back up with you. Folks, thanks for watching Cardinal Coaches Corner this week. We'll see you again next week. Go Cards.
Go Cards.